boot fans, welcome on in. Right here in front of us today, as you can probably tell, we got a pair of the Nike Mercurial Superfly IV. This is the latest version of the high-profile Superfly boot to be released. We're going to take a look at these up close. I'm going to show you what they're all about. But rather than just being an unboxing, I wanted to bring you a quick evolution of the range to see how this design has kind of come into play. Look at some other models currently on the market, like for example the Vapor 10. We got the Superfly 3, and we got the Magista. So I'm going to take a look at the three of them as well and compare them. First off, let's check these out and see what they have to offer. A lot of you might have already seen these since they've been on the market for a few weeks. They feature this very unique pattern up front. The actual upper is pretty flexible and pretty soft. It's a very moldable material, synthetic microfiber. And then as you roll into the side of the boot, you can see where the flywire comes into play. And these flywire cables run around these laces, and then they go underneath the sole plate to add extra support across the midfoot into the heel. So you can see how they align on both sides of the upper. And this is a similar concept to what we've seen on the Superfly 3, except for these are more bio cables rather than in the Superfly 3. They were kind of like a harder material, harder flywire. So these bio cables offer a little bit more flexibility through the upper. You've also got that dynamic make collar that is pretty easy to spot on pitch because it does fit like a sock across your own socks. So if you're wearing a different color, it's very noticeable as it comes up across the ankle line. Flip it over and it's got this Vapor sole plate system with the carbon fiber inside. As you can see, I've already been wearing these, so they're a little bit muddy. Please excuse the mud. I had to see how they tested out, so I already took them into a game, some training situations in a game. In terms of fit, putting them on is very easy. I'm going to upload a video showing you a demo of that, but once you slip your foot in, they do fit slightly long, which is needed in this boot considering you do move a little bit more in it. In terms of width, they are tighter than the Magistas. The Magista Obra actually fits wider, so it's a little bit tighter, but it still does have a decently wide fit. I'd say like a medium to wide fit. And you got that no tongue design. So the laces just sit over that fly knit material, the fly knit material that runs around the ankle. And as you can see, there's plenty of stretch in that. So again, it offers some give as you put them on. If you've got like a little bit of a wider foot, you know, you do have an opportunity to slip them in with that separation and then tighten them up with the laces. So this is the current Superfly 4. Really quickly, let's bring in the Superfly 3. And as many of you are probably aware or read on the website, I'm not a fan of these boots. I definitely wasn't satisfied with the performance that they offered, and it was primarily because of the stiff feel. And you can see again how this fly wire runs through the midfoot. But because there was so many fly wires, it caused a lot of restriction on your foot, and it kept it too tight. And then the upper was just a stiff, bland, plain material. It didn't have any looseness or give to it. With that slightly higher elevated toe, box toe design, wasn't a fan at all. And then if you flip them over, they have a similar stud configuration except for these retractable studs, which again, you know, I actually talked to Nike directly, the designers, about this, and I was kind of like, it doesn't serve a purpose. You don't see them in action. Nobody really can tell whether they're useful or not performance-wise. So it is something that they removed from the boot, and I'm happy to report that that it has been removed. One other note about the Superfly 4 really quickly before we go on. They do have a heel counter actually inside the heel, so you do have some extra support around that region. I know that there is a lot of the fly knit material, so don't be under the illusion that it's going to cause a lot of looseness in the heel. There is some extra protection in that region. Next up, let's bring in the Magista Obra, and the reason we bring these in is because of that mid-cut collar, and this is the first boot that we've seen that mid-cut collar released on. If we put them side by side, and again I am going to put up another video comparing these two boots to each other, they are very different materials through the upper, through the forefoot. Personally, I prefer what the Superfly has on offer. The Magista Obra is nice and soft, nice and flexible. It does offer a wider fit, as I said. But the material in the Vapor, the microfiber, feels nicer on the ball. It has a lot more texture and definition. If I bring it up close, you can kind of see that textured design. And I enjoyed that more than I did with the Obra. And the final boot I wanted to bring into play. Oh, just to note with these two boots as well, quickly, sole plates are very different. Conical studs on the Obra compared to blades on the Superfly. Final boot is the Vapor, and the reason being, of course, and again, I've been wearing these, as you can tell from the mud in the bottom. I do test out my boots. They do feature similar sole plates, and that's kind of where Nike have taken that from the Superfly and the Vapor. It is the Mercurial style sole plate. Uppers feature that same material through the forefoot. It's a little bit thinner, I feel, from personal experience, on the Vapor 10, although I can't confirm because I haven't got my measuring tape out to measure the thickness of the uppers. And side by side, you can see how they're different because of that make-good collar and the fly knit material. When it comes to these two boots side by side, I'm going to be a little bit honest here, and I'm going to tell you that I much prefer the Vapor 10. Reason being is that make-good collar, and I'm just not yet persuaded that is the ideal option for players that want to be explosive, primarily because as you look to accelerate away the material that's up along your ankle, it doesn't give you that release or that extra pop that you normally need to flash away, to get off that surface, to push off and explode away. You do get that with the Vapor, obviously, because you don't have that make-good collar. So along the ankle, you don't have any restriction. And I've seen a lot of players, pro players, actually switch away from this design. And I to be honest, do see it happening more as we move forward. This, to me, is a more explosive style boot for midfielders rather than attacking style players. Unless you're an attacking style player that maybe is tall or doesn't really rely on explosive speed. So maybe you're playing up top and you want to be the hold-up guy, but you want something that's a little bit lighter and gives you a lot of support across the midfoot. Then I see these being an ideal option to check out. So there you have it, guys. This is the Nike Mercurial Superfly 4. Kind of like the evolution of where it's come from through these four boots. Let me just bring them out real quick. Before you leave, definitely appreciate if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe to Sock Cleats 101. And if you want to leave a comment down below, I definitely appreciate you telling us what you think of this design and which boot you choose. Would you choose the Superfly or the Vapor given the choice? So if I was to say, hey, you got a free pair of boots, which one would you choose? Just leave your comment down below. I'll be getting involved in your conversation. Thanks for taking the time to stop by and watch this video, guys. Until next time.